Na asem we ade ehia me yi ena no pay pa. Kasoa teen killer gets life imprisonment. Okay, it's our story no. Okay. So mo kai sa story o de enwura mu kakra ne emra. Nicholas Kinney, one of the two teenagers who killed a 10-year-old boy at Kasoa in 2021 for money ritual, has been sentenced to life imprisonment by High Court in Accra yesterday. And on some, but if the newspapers too are ready, they started with the newspapers because it's also in the newspapers. I'm happy more projecting newspapers, at the Amami. So far as we have the newspapers, let's start the newspapers. Okay, I think it is only 2 of the newspapers that is ready. So we'll wait and see, or if all the news. Okay. So the major story this morning, when you pick the Daily Guide newspaper on the front page, Keta resident Mo Baumia, police grab Mamobi gun suspect. Cozy Empire's 150 Argentine youths. And then the major story is Kasoa teen killer jailed for life. That is what's on the front page of the Daily Guide. Let's deal with the Chronicle. If you have the Chronicle, put the Chronicle on screen for me this morning. And then we move on to the Chronicle newspaper and deal with the Chronicle. On the front page of the Chronicle newspaper, NPP, NDC, disturbances at Mamobi, gun 14 juggernaut arrested. Kasoa ritual murder, 1 jailed for life, another 3 years. You uphold values of integrity and hard work. Keta chiefs to Baumia is also on the front page of the Chronicle. We'll come to the other stories. And until all that Kasoa story, I run it through. And until we person take it time, kakra near call Kasoa story na fedin komo kakra. One of the 2 teenagers who killed a 10-year-old boy at Kasoa in 2021 for money ritual has been sentenced to life imprisonment by a high court in Accra. His co-accused, name withheld, who is a minor, was also convicted on 2 charges of conspiracy to commit murder and a substantive charge of murder, but the court referred his sentencing to the juvenile court as he was a minor at the time he committed the crime. The 2 lured the victim into an uncompleted building where they killed him with intent to use his body for money ritual. Luck eluded them and they were caught. The trial judge, Justice Lydia Osemafo, a justice of the High Court of the Court of Appeal, sitting as an additional High Court judge, in a summary of evidence to the jury, blamed the act of the teenagers on parental neglect. Adieba compare more underlining Edemame pa judge during the sentences and what can I say? In a summary of evidence to the jury, blame the act of the teenagers on parental neglect. The parents of the present generation are asleep, while their children, who should be asleep by them, are widely awake. The consequences is a silent pandemic eroding our society and condemning our future generation to a life of trauma. She also quoted former First Lady of the United States, Hillary Clinton, that when parents neglect their children, society pays the price. Nothing, quote, nothing but parental neglect has brought us this far. If we don't take care, the very foundation of this nation will be destroyed, unquote, Justice Marfo added. The 2 teenagers were charged with 2 accounts of conspiracy to commit murder and the substantive charge of murder. The court, during the prosecution case, held that the young boy was still alive when the convict buried him in a shallow grave. The minor had confessed to the crime both at the district court during the committee and at the High Court where they stood trial. He subsequently pleaded not guilty to murder but pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit murder. The court entered a plea of not guilty for him. Nicholas Kinney, on the other hand, denied the offense both at the district court and pleaded not guilty to conspiracy to murder and a substantive charge of murder at the High Court. In his defense before the court, when his lawyers asked him to tell the court what he knows about the young boy's death, he said, I do not know anything about the death of Ismail Mensah Abdallah. Prosecution case. The prosecution led by Nana Adomon says senior state attorney called 7 witnesses, including the parent and a younger sister of the minor, to prove its case. The investigator, Chief Inspector Isaac Kasoa Odey, as part of his testimony, told the court that one of the accused had confessed that he hit the deceased with a full block, which later broke into pieces after landing on the forehead of the deceased. Pathologist at the police hospital, Assistant Commissioner of Police Oseo Usu-Efriye, gave the cause of death as severe head injury from blunt trauma and asphyxiation because he was buried alive. During their closing address, Madam Osei told the court that the prosecution had proved its case beyond reasonable doubt and urged the jury to return guilty verdict against the two. Samuel Atua, counsel for the minor, expressed condolence to the victim and its family, indicating that his client had already confessed to the crime, but urged the jury to return a verdict of not guilty. Lawrence Boampong, who held the brief of Martin Pebu for Nicholas Kinney on his part, told the court the accused has denied the offense and the prosecution could not prove his guilt beyond reasonable doubt, hence urged the jury to return a verdict of not guilty. Verdict. The judge took time to summarize the case for the jury, as well as directed them on what the law says and the threshold the prosecution must meet. The jury then retired and returned after about 5 minutes with a unanimous guilty verdict on both charges against the two. Justice Mafu subsequently convicted the two and sentenced Nicholas Kinney to life imprisonment while remitting the minor to a juvenile court for sentencing per section 342 of Act 30. Around same way in 2021, in a Siwo Kasoa, Yehoyan can't be in Shemu. And yet, say, Enquada a moment self from Yenubi. Akwada wadi vision do. Now, what the block says is then be able to akwada ni timwa. Akwada ni ye mira no mu fi so wu. Anu omu sie na nimu no. Ana akwada no ewu wo amenanum. Just one more akwada ne anyoye apa.
Omo sie na nimu no so.
Omo sie akwada na nimu no so. Ebra omo the blocks buru akwada ni tim na they thought we are weak, you know. He's gone. Asami ba ye nyina di ho yaw. Tina fidie so kabi. Cause especially it was shocking, but even though baby condemn the town Kasoa, so okay.
I say how the whole Kasoa no correct.
Now one come some I mean baby refi. Yeah. Asami dia ne bekwa gosi dia ne nkosi ni ade. Ave wadi asem na wie enra na odi obu asem no. Na de na wo mu nyina ne se abrante ba ko de anidi afa mai so a minor at the time of committee offense no. Na oni mfinhia du nwotwe. Ti na wo minor. Ena ba ko no a oka ho Nicholas Kinney no de o ya above 18. Enti ono de odi to ababa na ye. Enti ono no was woni fo. Woni fo say na asem no koye Kinney no a ono ye pani owo mu say woni fo. Na gora no Abdallah no a wawuo no. Wonim ni wuo no ho he. Ena ketwa no a owo mu no ono no say me de mamu mo me kwa adu say me na me yoye but mo me kwa adu say me boa obi conspiracy. Ena wo ko di bone no eno kra me de me gitum. Me wo obi eno ye de we no bro akora tim sie ye me de me wo obi me de me gitum enti no kra de maka na mum paasa me na me ye de ayi na ko fa adwen no ba ye no ye na yi no se me moa no me kra no na me nim papa me di fo de aba no de sie no but some guy me na me ye de ane enye no kra nyem na me ye na court no Bibiansi Abdallah na wo nim no wono nhyade da wo ba wu am nkope de okun no ana ya tena asem no so nti mranimfo yi we kanede na we kanede defense lawyers you call you the body no call police hospital autopsy e ba bonten kire se akwada no ade bo ne tirim nti emoja se yunu gu ne tirim ena wasan so sie akwada no animu no so autopsy no reveal saade ni nyina e de bae anopay awofo ene atiefo munhye den. There's a purpose, there's a reason why I want us to go into this story. Na otemuafo tie nkrobo no nyina wieye no ana omo verdict no e bae. It was a unanimous decision. I just for trust am no so no enyina ko be nkrom se awara no odi oye pani no oye onka no kre. Well, we would differ. Jano man never can. You never can community society no one. We be deal more. Inti sana tiye dia. Sana tiye dia.
Defending also on your share.
What do you want real? Sana tiye dia. You have got tum for life imprisonment. One got them under normal, you know. Nke say you couldn't be. But on the Ghana no. When last time someone penny business Ubia so better than soiled. Intimate say a sentence in life imprisonment. And na ketwa no awaka ho no. Ono no ya refer no. Edno ama juvenile court say. Yenhwe na afei according to section 342 of Act 30 no. Yenyina so. But the one krata no report say ono obenya 3 years. Or minor, obenya 3 years. Now, ono omogini plea no tum say, the air can aiding and abetting or boano act nankasa de trimoponum free no act num free no. But I say, as much as oh nyam say na me nkoye we na and then no and ano pempesi din komo kakra e wo ha. Judge no kan asem bi e wo ha. The trial judge Justice Lydia Osemafo, a justice of the Court of Appeal, sitting as an additional High Court judge in her summary of evidence to the jury, blamed the act of the teenagers on parental neglect. The parents of the present generation, quote, or say the parents of the present generation are asleep, while their children who should be asleep by them are widely awake. Unquote. The consequences is a silent pandemic eroding our society and condemning our future generation to a life of trauma. And now I pay akwada oni mfinhia dumwotwe. Akwada wadi mfinhia dumwotwe edie na bema awuku. Obeka se opesika entem wa abrabom. Enu nti the option obetimi afa so apesika ntem wa abrabom ene se ese se okochi akwada wadi mfinhia du no okum no no osie no na owia odi benyesika.
Kwame anope ma boto na mera huye papa. First of all one say oka awofo a se biato ye ma ajeje mu ye yi ani ama ye ma omo ka asem bi wo ho brofo no say yen awofo na da anke dis omo mane da omo nchen no omo mane de omo ni abie han omo na monten so na awofo na nkasa na ada bra Kwame, it is happening in every sector of our economy. Sisi an AC. Sawosha de eyana esaya me yana say. One more go through these cases in a dona so no scan fie. Ubeshom na awofo no scan fie. Ana she mama me. She ya mama yi. Senior sebi oma wi omani ato so edi sebi nsamfo wa bonten so. Abema aketu abitimi bie na no. Eka sam kire panyin a odwo ho awon te ase na u sa ho se entity na e wo hefa. Yes, e wo mu se nyame na tete akora ma yen, but as a parent ye de omo pass it through some sort of channel bi no nyame nso bless you na akora na ba be yi obi enu oni mbatete da bi nyame na boa wa no wa boa wo nanso so no ɛna awofoɔ nankasa no ɛnam yɛ day to day activities ne nti sisi a no bra kwame amanfoɔ bi na hwɛ yɛ ma no ɛma yɛn amanfoɔ na hwɛ yɛ ma ma yɛn because yɛ maame no wo de maame fa yɛ maame no ma ansa na metie si office work for no so no hwɛ yɛ maame no ɔmo yɛ masom mitimi sɔre anadwo bɛɛ bi ahomakye bɛɛ 3 a.m. na me kɔyɛ videos about a man baby ɔmo kɔfa mu nuane free ni adeɛ ɛde ba kumasi am yensuo nya bi ɛto ebi timi ka kyerɛ me sɛ ɔmo kɔ 1 ebi nso ɔmo kɔ ɛnra afei na ɔmo ɛba no ma ba bedu anadwo swami runabout hɔ ebi ɔmo timi bedu bɛɛ 1 ebi bedu 3 ebi bedu 4 a.m. Oba no so san ba beto ade na obusa ne se na ne ma ne ose ebi me kan so ebi ono a single parent maame no nkwa na hwe nkra no wase ejo mo akwa chini kwa maso obaba na dofa na akra na dante okọ no jo ye ne se wo de sika no ahye waduro na se anaso wo de sika na to table no so wo de sika na hyensuo na se ehọ na akra ni nim se ne maame tade ne sika hye ntokoyi a akwakoyi na se okọ school. Enti se we nya akura bi Nyankopon beye wadom na naso beye mmere na sabi bra kwame wo bedi wasade so sa na sabio mi follow sa track we na matimi akosuku ana sabio masua nyansa ano ano no walusu se nyame anya wadom no kosia emema bi omo ye mema bone na so mo start so mu etrani na eno ano walusu se nyame anya wadom na sabio kosia maya bia omo bone omo sumu nega WhatsApp ibi wadi ade atoto ne nan wa tatu no ho afa o hye ne man ketenkete sabi o so ne to ase ene ade a eno ano no wa feli afa wo be hye ase no sa saka wa ba kase ni nyina no efisa ne man because o de ho kobo obi afa bra kwa me ade ba ko e serious a minim de ntia bibia ntimi nkoso aye television stations na ye wo no
sikadro
what is happening? Na me hu tutume.
Sikadro, magiska.
TV stations no bit to so say. What the 100 cedis ba metimi ama 200 Ghana. Or say 100 cedis is 1000 Ghana cedis. Na obi na wote na sabi tiba onkoso. Wono no on say na nwini musa ho say where is this guy getting the 900 Ghana cedis from? I'm giving him 100 Ghana cedis. Waso o ma me 1000 Ghana cedis. No ko 900 na free hefa. Ni yetimi adada wa say wo yes adie we ya wo de we kwasha ase ya ana hwan ye wonkrofo bi omo make say remittances ana de na sika de beto mu ana ye wonkrofo bi wo bo fa sika ne nya hwe ni adada no waje adi no wasen ne sika no wo sane ma ni wi afa no obeka brofo foforo a kire wo batamanfo ye obi so betena so me malam ho ahwan me ye konfo de me so bitimi yesen me masika o ya nyihwe e odwan aponte o sa ase akukọ me pesa me ka kire obi a se sabi o ma akra enam awia ye ma ne dompe me hu obi a wo so o ma ne banam awia bra kwa makofa dompe de ahye nanu mu da ye sha ase ma no fish de emre na wo kọ wani mu no na afi mu ye den wo mo ye sikaduro na nkasa kro mo ye ne ye no a wo mo kire se this a human blood sacrifice no mutimi de ye no wo me ka kire o se Bronsamo ye so smart say so asa se koku ma me kofa di pabla ko esi ya onye enti wo sha se kofa odwan bra ye de odwan be ya ma ye de abron ma be ya ma ye de preko be ye sa de mani ye de represent nipa ye de be fa nipa
edidi utiri no
ai randomly no no atusu obi interfere edidi utiri mu no ne enim nkrofo bi wa ha no they into your friend say creative art industry no mo ye movies movie director mua afeko wi asa no kwaje ade ne ma na abro no ma o de ye o de chusu randomly o de chusu ne actors ni bi ba ko wo mo ko ana o kwanya asa na ba ko ye o ko fa ne out no se na abro no ma na de ma no ka ase hwan ya chusu bi later ne demand for no ane yere ene ne ma wontimi wada ho abate se obi bokokoko na nkatia na da ne gate na ti wo. Yes, people are going through serious pains in their houses. People are going through trauma in their houses. Me pa cha wuti fear. You're very careful. Ninti bra kwa me mesre. Can the police do anything about some crofo omu good TV so ma flood so na omo yesa na.
Oh, say enokra the media commission Juma Kesse pa the police there can't just wake up and go to kwa first TV na owner. Ona no operate based on license aye de amano. Enti ni operational license no. Hefo na de man no. So omo de amano no. Ede in a womb se Lawson TV, Lawson FM way. Nya ya papa sorry ya na. O start se matoto video bi go am kasa. No, oko abamu koje nkrata sensa nkrata. It's the do's and the don'ts. Enti sankofo no a omo ye in charge no, omo na failure.
Enti so apart from that no, if they are failing us, bibia ntimi nsi bie ma na.
Bibi si. Ese bibi timi si me no me no ya fam de na yeye. Ya fam de na yeye.
As ye ka action bi anteki na ma fam ho.
De bia ya me ka kira manfo na kwa me woni mire kwa na me
meni bire kwa he.
Etu na me kwa twa na me de.
Utimi kwa twa nsemi so. Utimi kwa hwe ma no. Utimi kwa che no because ono so na kwa obekọ no. Yes obi na aton airtime na ma no so o metena so. No oyi sika. As a fake near my own, the training, then people are following now. I'm voting a tick. Now I want to call Pesca because of intense hardship. Our system no more. I was for Miss Rao Sabi. A commodore simple. Me who say come be a commodore black or didn't Samuel who did that.
Maybe. Oh yes, I da.
Now so see that I want to. I'm up for Samuel. And yamo bi mu da ye kan samo tiba onko so bi akwatre kwa bi ono tiba bi no e ka cho so be fra wontoma no TV no so say me masika fa sika baji sika fa se baji sen fa akokọ bra fa odwan bra na watimi atọ de akọ obi atimi akọ bobosia 100 million o so se ne agene ketenketi o scan sase 500 Ghana 300 Ghana 1 Ghana sa what the girlfriend e ko yin so mkọ akọ sika duro afomu wie ni ese wa ba ku bewu na ada no afema ala no ka che se ba ku fa no hu ntwa so ba ku be ma na di no hu ntwa so na oba na ready oba na say be ma fa hu ntwa so be ma ni suro afomu dwane ko pesofo
mate o de ye abdobani
nana asamna abome pusa asamna no den na wadaroma edu baby a ye de ahokyere nti we say ehwe a we say ke ehwe ye mane ehwe wo na wadaroma tete ho no tete yankwa akiri pi megidi say so ma me asamba kura no bu ani che kura na oyam hyehye wo wonu mabontena D7 samfu bia panyin bia timitian ukọ school na ya de na nya panyin bia timitian enne sa de no ho ana enne ye sesa amre ne ya bagimbre enne ye ni ate
computer age
eti enkora bi kura ka kire me say ye de no kura ye post office box what it dey post office box and there is all kire post office box one
and then
there .com na bibia aba na say de na menu eken ene kura de TV ne dan chen a nana enkrofo bi de niam bia bobo kromo na number se boso oso nya sikadura fra number
it's true
eti eno no de sere no wakasa bia nana wakasa nsiefu yi eno bambo fo huni
ba we say no de bobo abonte so security fo huni
security fo huni eti bo abonte o wa kire no point chese black and white say wunya sika fra number yi abubo krombe bre say de omo de ma adwuma no nipa ede ne ya on say society na kwese uniska sabe yamu baby level na koduro no uniska yamu ba ye kone sa so a enya de beboa enti afutu a me ma ba ta ne say se wo bio ye ni bio ye me ni na tema na ye wo UCC professor Baakubi wo se na brabo nyina ko bon wa brochire ne ma ye miensa ne botai nyina ne se wo behwe nkwada no nti sika wo de ba na eba nana wo ba na ro sam ne se na ne nkwada mi ni nyina no wi asai
na brochire
ko sia dia wo ba no professor na ne ma mi nu asai na ro sam ne se UCC asema make wo make UCC de wo munim won say dura nyimra na wo wi tutu ma no wo ne nam campus wo sa na professor na wo say oba class wo say na ne awu eti abrabo kobo ye nyina fa so bia maso afi wo say ene ohun na ko tena afie ene nka sabe nkakra kra no a kene kankura na ehire nyam abata yam ye ni na ho wo mse dura bia ebi ni ho de na nso yemfa nyamesum ensem kakra ntete wo no nsa bata no abiso etimpia kwada no
why
etimpia wo mo no classmate ni wo hu na no kwa wo na aba wo na odifo aba na odifo ba ewusa what is the cable san? I could be crying about on my fear. It is baby on them beer, my men in Kaunshi, Papa in Kaunshi, and what? You was school me, Nana. But I be turning back in was a form of Obuki. No, ya bre, no, didn't be Gurawa. And what was his school BM? Sakuran, why you dang, so you dang. Now you send Quadanzo Crano. Now we have said, Kumasi guys, a baby. One comes to my question, Quadabe said, Yasani Chibi. No man, we have some of told you, man, can baby, and Quadan Sube on the school munko, and Obefia uncle. We bet me, ya, Dada Quadano, no Dako would to be a bit more, and ye. About time, Yamian in Naho, Yamian in Naho. Yakase, ye can become a judge no about time Yamian in Naho. Near share a young Kofoa, a man so any woman nam. Near man seen 2 more which I'm so cacra. Ah, of course, in a mebedi, Oko Canasam cra, in ye, mebedi between Canasam, the Bina Ocas judge in a kind. See Jaw or more, yang or mine, any Bihuna money. And I fade do baby and Famaho, and Yama Sam, a befan. Okay, a befan. A Sam beer and Fanny Pound, it will be ya dear be ya, Yamian in corner, a cacrebi a bit to my ye, a dear buoni pano, cacrebi a bit to my cardiac pano, yanka, then the pano be and I'm so a better. Now why come up? Man can't just say my quadrabi. No, we. Rio. Aye, because sorry. No. Me call you me ready. I drop us. I'm so much test school there so. But say Java Sam no work can use about Konya there. I'm going to get a mocha some Samsan. One can't for an answer. Now me quadu Kazams. Jimmy Sambano can say my mamma mummy. I want 2 Missa come. Maybe I know what to tell him here. More as some catches I mean, coach Ramadi and Yadi Mayano. Some others imagine I'm boo. It was school. I feel more watch a message. I'm not telling me certain things. You want to tell me from Babumi and I say, almost say no one come up. You know, one come up. Could you not tell me, say, you know, we now if it's all boy, never in your janum. Hey, Madame, one more jam, so this year come out and change. Because I said, Bannon. More can we now make what someone tell you once. Also, teacher, one giant champion who they ever queer him Kakrana was a bit intimate. Now, maybe boy teacher for him, penny be a man near peace. The inquiry can be yet, busy near 2 or more, I bet you, if it's so, would you, Miawani? I'm too well, my minion way. With him, we know Mashasi, and I'm penny and pie, qua, Mitty baby say, no, so come any ma, quanum. So say. Why are they young court? No more. Woman of the sun out to me. Now to me, no, Mark, I say, we know, Yanumbi. I said, I can't rather say, don't go by no didn't come out. The view, and one to say, do a big eye. It's me, Yan Booms. I said, I can't rather say, Nebaku, US Army. Baku immigration officer, Baku CID, Sanko for me and son. If I was a family was Samubia. Some may bow or more, and I may some farm if I can go for say. And to do baby, yes, you fear home and Muramubi, near more warm, so also more near Nawa, who don't call them, or better some house where we are and also, who chibi. It's your man in now, and also to
Papa.
Back on me.
Now, so where dear?
Yamia do me where pa.
Would I ye?
Me de ye, and I mean for pants so. Me de ye. The other one, me raho, my bottle. Na asam no wo kan mu no na na as wo bobrim as de BBC no so no. Ya rahosem. Na nkia beti se ebi mo kodi ma bi se ya. Kane no na nkanya nkura o mpanimfo ni akase wo mo de o mo ye mature de ntini se but nkura like 15 years any 18. Na mutimi bo mutiri mo potu sa na mo we ya. Ya rahosem. Na me de bra kwa me kwa adu no obia benya ne de. Obia benyane de na going forward no won we ye involved nyina no ye betu ho anamon na ye ka awofo ho asem ebre wo se awofo nya e de mankwala no se eni ho na ukwa akra de market no apart from say bi moko like e bi at 3 am ni ade no obi wa wa te say akra area bi te say ashalaja no wote obeba ekrom wo e bi adome ana se ba bi etesa no emuwa kes kan obeko obeba no ontimi enti woko ekromu Monday a obeba weekend omo da market nim e ma no
esa ne ba no 1 week no
no omo da market nim sikanti
na mfa so yɛ brakwa me mfa so yɛ nti obeda
omo bedam
mfa so yɛ
enti bia 1 week hu oba woni ba bi onenam woni maduane a wadie woni ma yonko a wode ne ho abɔ wo mo enti ɛha adwene sɛde na wo fa kan sɛ ye previous sika nyina na enkwala na nu nti ye brɛ no that's what ma say ya ye be ne dey enti awofo de na sometimes awofo bi abaako pɛ maame na ɔna ehwe nkwala ni nyina etasi pa single parenting no ɛha adwene ebi wo krampa nko na yawo ti senka yawo na maame na kwaware foforo papa no so kwaware foforo no aka ensinsemu ɛsɛ ɔno focus nyina yɛ na ware